Okay, folks, we went off. Internet connection wasn't good. We are back. Anyways, let's go to class. Good evening and welcome wherever you are. Good day. As you can see from my facial expression, I'm not too okay. Not in health though. We have session today. A lot went on. If you were following the earlier video, we had hinted that the Liberian Senate took some action today. In open session, and then one key major thing in closed door session. And I'm going to say all to you, so you know. I committed to be open, transparent to you that are served. It was brought to our notice today while we were in session that ArcelorMittal, one of the biggest investment companies in the country, had written the Liberian government, bring it to our notice as a government through the executive. The letter was addressed to Mr. Nathaniel McGill for onward transmission to the president. The communication was written to Mr. Nathaniel McGill from Mittal Steel or ArcelorMittal. And our communication was about bringing to the notice of the government of Liberia that we had entered into a concession agreement with a new company called Prostar Port. Prostar Port is supposed to do business in Liberia, and part of their control area falls within the areas that have already been concessioned onto Mittal Steel or ArcelorMittal, like the railway and the port, the use of the port of Buchanan. And ArcelorMittal brought that to our notice. And immediately upon receipt of the ArcelorMittal communication, thankfully, it was just about the time the Liberian Senate was about to resume session for the day. At the reading of the agenda, we made the submission that that issue should be discussed because our Constitution, in Article 25 of our Constitution, clearly states that agreements between Liberian government and investment companies must be protected. Once we concession an agreement, it's an obligation of contract shall be guaranteed by the Republic, and no law shall be passed which shall impair this right. MITA still has some rights, concession to them by the Liberian government through the proper channel. The investment agreement was drawn up, signed by the executive, sent to the legislature, approved by the legislature, ratified by the legislature, and approved by the President of Liberia. The President of Liberia, of course, then was Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And MITA still enjoys some years on her concession agreement. And so anything that has to do with impairing or altering the agreement must go through the legal channel. So MITA still brought that to our notice today. And we placed it on the floor of the Liberian Senate. And the Senate in majority concur with our submission that we should withdraw. The Liberian Senate had already acted. Either before I became senator or in my early days leading to my being senator, inducted in the office, the Liberian Senate had acted to ratify the concession agreement and then send it to the House of Representatives for concurrence. When that was brought to our notice today, when we raised the issue, we made the representation appropriately and prevailed on the Liberian Senate to recall the document we sent to the House of Representatives for concurrence so that we can come to do the appropriate thing, to do the appropriate demarcation of the property involved between Pretas Port and ArcelorMittal. We cannot have investment companies in this country fighting over land concession to them by us ourselves. So next time I hope we can do proper reading to know the appropriate demarcation and know which agreement stops so that we can know where to take up the new agreement. I want to thank the Liberian Senate, the senators, for seeing reason to agree with our submission today, for us to recall the action of the Liberian Senate to ratify the Pratas Port agreement that was sent to the House of Representatives for concurrence. So the Liberian Senate, through plenary decision today, authorized the Secretary of the Senate to write the House of Representatives to recall our action. It is allowed by legislative practice where error or something was done inadvertently or something that was unnoticed but was not done right. We can recall our own action. And I'm hoping that we can take the same courage to recall plenty of our actions, some of which I will speak to tonight. That was number one. Number two, today I knew that it was placed on the agenda for the confirmation action to be taken on the central bank governor. At the time he was designated. He's not designated any longer. The Liberian Senate in majority went to executive session and voted to confirm the gentleman. I am not too clear as to why we confirmed Mr. Talu as governor of the central bank. I didn't come here to make myself an injury. I didn't vote to confirm him. I had issues, several issues. First thing, our economy is in a septic tank. It is in a complete state of disarray. And anybody who's coming to seek to revive the economy should give us some impression. And I was not convinced about I was not convinced. Mr. Talu did not convince me. He did not impress me that he can do a jack thing at the central bank to help revive this economy. In the first place, the man's CV was all scattered up. He did a year of breath, 2 different years he gave us. He can't tell us whether he's a citizen or not. He can't tell us, he can't give us any references directly from the places he said he worked. Several things we asked for, but the Banking and Currency Committee ignored those, made recommendations for plenary to endorse the confirmation of the gentleman. Senator Oscar Cooper and I did not vote. Senator Noblikanga Lawrence was not in session. She's still in Grand Bassa County concluding all of the activities that led to the final homegoing of Councillor Charles Walker Bronsky. I will admit that Senator Steve Zacko, the chairman of my party, had left session, so he did not vote yes or no, but he was not in session to vote. Senator Jonathan Kapier had asked for excuse, so he wasn't in session. They may explain themselves at a certain point in time. But I was in session. I raised the issue. When we seek to confirm the governor of the Central Bank of Liberia, the first thing, the Liberian Senate must be duly seated and in keeping with the constitutional seating, meaning we must be 16 or more to constitute simple majority beginning with 16 and then 20 and beyond to constitute 2/3. In order for us to confirm somebody at the central bank, especially at this critical time in our economic situation, the vote must be resounding either yes or no, so that it reflects the true view and aspiration and decision of the Liberian Senate. Today, when I'm more than 20, in fact, when I'm 17 in session, we raised the issue about roll call. In keeping with our rule, roll call was done. And once we do roll call and we have not reached the threshold of simple majority to begin business of the day, session cannot go on. What we can do in keeping with the law and the constitution is to compel the attendance of other senators so as to reach the threshold number in keeping with the constitution. Plenary session was delayed for about an hour or so today on our insistence on the record that there must be roll call, so that when the Liberian Senate takes an action and the Liberian people got to know that we took an action today to confirm or reject the nominee, then the Liberian people can know whether we are serious as a body or whether we are unserious. And for us to confirm Mr. Talu, I don't know him from anywhere, and I must admit, the man is academically far educated than I am. Some people raise the argument with me, Dillon, you don't have an impressive CV. Who are you to question another person's CV? And that's where I can understand where people lack the clear understanding of what truly constitutes education. You see, when I wanted to be employed by the people, the people, I presented you my CV. The people of Montserrat, my supporters home and abroad, saw my CV. They were impressed with my CV. They voted me to be senator. In voting me to be senator, they authorized me through this constitution to be their vetting committee or part of the vetting committee to scrutinize other people's CV, to serve as check and balance on the executive and the judiciary, to put ourselves in order to put the light on. And so my CV is not in question any longer. The people who employed me, you, our people who voted me, already know my CV. You got impressed with my CV, and you appointed me by election. Meaning, you went voted me, and you said, we are impressed with your CV. Now you go and do our job in keeping with our aspirations. The gentleman did not impress me. Somebody was calling me. The gentleman did not impress me. He did not impress the Liberian Senate in my view. He did not impress the people who followed the hearing that day. But the Liberian Senate today took a decision in executive session to vote yea and nay. To vote yea and nay. To determine that we have a new central bank governor. When this man starts to perform in a way that is not representative of a central bank governor, when the economy starts to decline even further, we may be the same folks at the legislature terming him as incompetent. It is not a wishful thinking. But when that starts to happen, I'm going to be on the record to ask my colleagues in the Senate who confirmed the incompetent. If you say this man is incompetent later, if he clearly starts to demonstrate that he ain't able that job, he cannot revive this economy. He cannot put any straight monetary policy together. And he cannot restore the confidence in the banking sector for people to start to gain confidence in the banks, to start to deposit their money and start to transact with the banks. If he doesn't start to do those things, and we can't find the money that we say was printed or not printed, and everything starts going down further downhill, I want to hear my colleagues in the Liberian Senate calling Talu incompetent. I will be right to the door to remind them that we are more incompetent as a body. That is why we confirmed an incompetent person. At that time, I will remind all of us as senators. At that time, I will remind all of us as senators. How on such an important, critical issue, this is one time history should have been set where the Liberian people and the world will know that it was one time in point that the Liberian Senate voted, and each senator voted on the record either yes or no, for the sake of the record for tomorrow. But we went in executive session, all in favor, yeah, all again, nay, motion carried, and may confirm. So here's a guy who's going to take over the central bank. He gave us a CV, 1 year of birth, the year that he was born, 2 different papers, carried 2 different years. Here's a man who said he worked in corporate America at senior national executive levels. The exact same period at 2 senior executive level positions in America. From 2004 to 2008 at this bank. From 2004 to 2008 at another bank. The same exact period. When was he going to work to this other bank, and when was he going to work to this other place? When we ask him about why he has 2 years that he was supposed to have been born, he said it was an error. When we ask him how possible was it for him to have worked in 2 different places in America at senior executive level, in 2 different banks at the same time, he said it was an error. Everything we ask the man about his own CV, he said it was an error. If the man cannot even put his own CV together, he did not convince me that he can put central bank together to help to revive the economy, restore confidence to the banking sector. And it was on some of these bases that I, along with some senators, decided that this gentleman, though educated academically, but he was not best suited. Not best suited at this time. Not best suited at this time. He has not demonstrated that he was the best suited person. In the first place, when President Weah announced in advance the retirement of the former central bank governor, he informed us, the world, Liberia, particularly in the world, in a broadcast, that as Nathaniel Petro was about to resign, he was going to do open bid to replace Nathaniel Petro, and he was inviting the application of qualified Liberians home and abroad. We did not hear about any such bid. We did not hear about any such vetting. The only thing we knew, President Weah nominated Mr. Talu. Mr. Talu comes with some impressive academic credential. One of the mistakes we make in Liberia, most times, and maybe I may not be the right person to talk about it because they say, oh, you don't get academic paper. Yeah. But some people think education, academic education, means you are educated, means you qualify and competent. No. It is not all to it. At this point in time, we're looking for somebody with rich experience who is best suited. But now, we don't know who best suited because there was no vetting from the executive mansion, and the legislature, the Liberian Senate particularly, did not help the situation. And I can say, we did not do proper vetting. We confirmed the gentleman. So he went at Central Bank. And I'm not doing a video to cleanse myself. But at least the record can show that I didn't vote for him. I'm not against him as a person. I just believe that he did not convince my vote to send him to Central Bank. And that's the issue. He did not convince my vote.
Call from 077-736.
So we have Central Bank Governor confirmed by the Liberian Senate. It is what it is. James City, you ask, was Charles Salif and Milton Will vetted by their mother? No. They were not vetted by their mother, but their mother, and you talking about Ellen, their mother did not announce that she would do open bid and vetting, and that she did not announce that she was inviting application of qualified Liberians home and abroad to vet in a pool, and that the best suited person from amongst them will be nominated. She did not do so. So she exercised her right under the law to just nominate. She did not lie about vetting. She did not impress about vetting. In the case of President Weah, he misled us, gave false impression that he was going to do open vetting and that he was inviting the application of qualified Liberians home and abroad to come to vet and to bid so that the best suited qualified person will be nominated. You see the difference? You want to ask another question? What's my brother name again? Why he answer? James City? I hope I answer your concern. So let's move forward. So much for the confirmation of the gentleman. I think that's the second issue I've touched. The president of Liberia wrote the Liberian legislature today, especially the Senate, asking for our approval to allow the central bank to infuse 4 billion Liberian dollars in circulation. For a second, I'm asking what's happening to the president of Liberia. For a second, I'm asking what's happening to the president of Liberia. The reason I'm asking for a second is, who's advising him? The president is not a lawyer. The president of Liberia is not a lawyer. That is why the Supreme Court has opined long before that in the cabinet, only the justice minister can publicly disagree with the president of Liberia. Any president of Liberia, the justice minister of Liberia, who is attorney general of Liberia as well, is the only person who should not serve at the pleasure of the president, but also is the only appointee of the president that can disagree on opinion issues with the president, especially on legal issues. And the reason the Supreme Court rationed that ruling was that it was assumed, and it is still will be assumed, rightfully so, that you may not have a president who is legally sound or who knows the law. So the Attorney General of Liberia, the Attorney General, who is Minister of Justice, being versed in the law, Dean of the Supreme Court Bar, serving in the executive, is the only cabinet minister who, by protection of the law, can have differences of opinion in the public against what the opinion or decisions of the president may be, especially founded on legal ground. Because if the president makes a statement that is not sound in the law, the Minister of Justice can disagree with the president based on the Minister of Justice knowledge of the law. So who really advising this president, especially legally? Ajit Bana? I didn't come to disparage or denigrate anybody here on this video, but Ajit Bana is just one of the grossly incompetent folks around President Weah, especially when it comes to giving legal advice or legal opinion. Ajit Bana sat with the president, and the president violated the law without advising the president appropriately that it was illegal. It was a violation of the law for the president to appoint Gabriel Nyika Adleti. Yeah, Ajit Bana was there. Ajit Bana was there when the president unconstitutionally nominated, did not wait for Senate confirmation, then went ahead to appoint and commission an ambassador to America. It was a constitutional violation. Ajit Bana was there. He did not advise the president that it was legally and constitutionally wrong. Ajit Bana then just sitting around the president, he is one of the masters that can get tired and they just doing muya muya. And anything the president says and wants, they give it to him. It comes across as though these are some of the people who say that I'm a building to advise the man, they move from there. But who's advising this president? The Constitution is clear. The act that we enacted into law, well, I mean we, the legislature. Once I'm in the legislature, it is we, whether it is the 55th or 53rd or 51st or 52nd legislature. Once as a member of the legislature, when I'm talking about the legislature, even something that was done by the past legislature, it is now we, the legislature, the act creating the central bank, sourcing our authority from Article 34D. When we created the central bank, the authority we granted to the central bank is for them to infuse Liberian dollar into circulation in keeping with their mandate that we give them, in keeping with their professional knowledge of the environment, the monetary economic environment. When they decide that, when they deem that it was professionally sound, economically sound to infuse Liberian dollar on the market from the reserve, from the vault, they did not need to come to the legislature for approval. Because to do that means you're taking away the essence of the independence granted to the central bank. Article 34D 2R specifically state, no money shall be drawn from the treasury except in consequence of appropriations made by the legislature or by legislative enactment and upon warrant of the president. Let me break this down. Thankfully, a lot of lawyers on here. I see Samuel Twain and folks from the executive probably who misled President Weah to write the legislature asking for us to authorize the central bank to infuse money. I will come to that. To infuse money into circulation, they want to justify the error or the blunder probably they caused the president to make, and they want to justify relying on this article. So let me help them tonight in this class. I see most of them here as well. Those of you who have the Constitution, go to Article 34. Article 34D 2R. It says, no monies shall be withdrawn from the treasury except in consequence of appropriations made by legislative enactment upon warrant of the president. This portion has to do with the budget. If we appropriate, if the government, the executive sent us a budget for the year to withdraw money from the treasury, and we enacted that as the working tool, the fiscal working tool of the government, it means that legislative enactment and approval has been given by that appropriation. Okay, so the executive is supposed to say, this year we can raise $200. Then they will give us an idea of how the $200 they intend to push to put a $200 or to DJR. They got to come to us for approval, appropriation. We can say, okay, the 50 cents you put here, we're taking 25 cents from here, we're putting it on this side. I'm talking about the legislature. That's what they call appropriation. Article 34 D 2R. Go and read it. I just read it. Appropriation to withdraw from the treasury upon appropriation through legislative enactment. We're talking about the budget. When the executive say this budget year, this fiscal period, we can generate, we believe it's a projection, the budget. We believe that we can raise $5 this year. And it is our suggestion to you that we'll use $250 for salary, $150 for roll, $10 and $2 for agriculture. It is a suggestion made by the executive in the draft. It is the legislature that can determine how to do the appropriation. Meaning, we can say the $2 you put here for roll, take off 50 cents from here and put it to agriculture. The $150 you put here for housing, take out $25 from there and add it onto education. And we have done the appropriation. When we do that, then we pass it. It is that legislative enactment that Article 34D2R talks about initially. When we do that, then we send it to the president for approval. That what Article 34D2R says, no monies shall be withdrawn from the treasury except in consequence of appropriations made by legislative enactment and upon warrant of the president. Warrant of the president meaning when we appropriate and pass the budget, then the president does what? The president approves the budget. When the president approves the budget, then it means the president has issued the warrant for the money now to be withdrawn, to be expended, to be disbursed. That's Article 34D2R. It goes further. And no money shall be minted, no coin shall be minted or national currency issued, except by expressed authority of the legislature. Follow Article 34D2R. Look at this, the second line I just read. After appropriation and warrant of the president for withdrawing money from the treasury through the budget, follow the flow and the reasoning of the framers of the Constitution. It says, and no coin shall be minted or national currency, banknote, or currency. National currency means right now we're using Liberian dollar. That's the currency. The currency, it can be in banknote, it can be in coin. The currency we're using now is the Liberian dollar. The currency they're using in Japan is the Japanese yen. The currency they're using in America is the US dollar. Our currency here is Liberian dollar. The currency they're using in Guinea is the Ghana is the Ghana cedi. The currency they're using in Sierra Leone is the Leone. When we changing currency, meaning we don't want to say it is Liberian dollar anymore, we want to say it is the Liberian yen. That changing currency. When we're changing the currency, it must be by express authority of the legislature. No coin shall be minted except by the express authority of the legislature. Now you need to go back to history. By 1986, when we passed this constitution into law, and when it became a binding force of law in Liberia, by 1986, we're not using banknote. Liberian dollar banknote. We're using concurrently Liberian dollar, as in the Dole coin, and the other $1, 2 cent coins. We're using it concurrent alongside with the US dollar, which makes the US dollar legal tender in Liberia. That the same currency. The US currency was made legal, and the Liberian dollar currency made legal by the legislature. By 1986, when this constitution came into force, we were not using banknote. So no banknote was or is expressly written in this constitution, because we were using banknote by 1986. Our own banknote, we're using on par with the Liberian dollar, we're using the US currency. But because we can print the US currency, so we could not authorize the legislature or we could not empower the legislature to give authority to print US dollars. You understand? So, but when they're talking about Liberian currency, what a banknote now, or what a coin later, or what a coin today, or banknote yesterday, once you minting coin, once you issuing currency, currency is also banknote, it's also money. Once you issuing currency, it must be by the expressed authority and approval by the legislature. At this point, it does not say anything about the president of Liberia. Let me read it for you again, those of you who just coming. Article 34D 2R. No money shall be drawn from the treasury except in consequence of appropriations made by the legislative enactment and upon warrant of the president. That is the budget. That is the budget. The legislature enacts it into law and the president approves it. When the president approves it, it means the president has warranted or issued the warrant for money to be withdrawn from the treasury in keeping with this provision. It further says, and no coin shall be minted or national currency issued except by the express authority of the legislature. Period. Samuel 12. All of you around the president, you show me which part of this constitution, the provision you're running with, says that when it comes to minting coin or issuing national currency, that the president can ask, and it is the president who can ask the legislature for the legislature to go tell the central bank to infuse money. The legislature has the authority to mint coin. The legislature has the authority to issue currency. The legislature delegated some of that function in the act creating the central bank and authorized the central bank in the act under the provision for printing to do all the arrangement with the printer or the vendor, tell us why they want to print or why they need to print, the denomination, the amount or the quantity in each denomination. They do all that arrangement in keeping with the act, the central bank act. Then it comes to us, the legislature, for approval. After convincing our votes to say, we think it is time to print new money or to print additional money. We can't do so unless we authorize it. We have done all the arrangement. We have seen, we have considered all the rationale behind printing new money or increasing the money that is already in circulation. We want to do additional printing, and these are the justifications for which we are asking for your approval. That's what Article 34D talks about, and that's what we enacted into law when we established the central bank. We did not give the central bank any authority to print money anytime they feel like. We gave the central bank authority to arrange for the printing of money. And in keeping with a professional judgment, when they deem that it's time to print money or either to change the currency or to add on the currency, they must do all the arrangement and then come to us for approval. That's what we enacted into law. That's what we enacted into law. I don't know where they think coming from with the president writing us directly asking us for approval to print money without making reference to the central bank. So how does the president get to know that the central bank wants money printed? So where's the independence of the board of governors? Why did we give these people tenure? Why did we give them tenure? Why did we give the central bank independence, autonomy? Why everything they want to do, they got to run to the president. So to even infuse money now, they're going to the president. How does the president know that central bank wants? There's a need for central bank to infuse money. The central bank ought to report to us quarterly so that we can know the circular flow of our money, when there's shortage, when there's need to change mutilated and all that stuff. That is why the Liberian legislature, both houses have what we call the banking and currency committees. It's not everything that we need to put in the public. That is why you deal with the committees, and the committee inform the appropriate leadership of the both houses. But they will just do everything scatter. So everything just in the public. Everything just in the public. The president letter he wrote us today asking us for authority to infuse $4 billion into circulation raises more questions than answers. When Yaka Koluba alarmed that they have printed money, they say he crazy. 3-4 months on the record, central bank said there was no new money in the vault. And central bank were even aiding and abetting the commercial banks to issue back into circulation badly mutilated Liberian banknote. At a certain point, they said no money was in the vault at all, both at the central bank and at commercial banks. So if you wanted 5,000, they will give you 1,500. They will pay you in installment on 5,000 Liberian dollars. And because of the no money syndrome or story they put up, some people could not even find money to buy tablet, and they died out of headache. And they died out of headache. Curable disease. But because no bank will issue up money, people could not travel to seek about their medical needs, about their business. This government, through the central bank, and aiding and abetting the commercial banks, strangulated Liberians and foreign businesses, deprived Liberians and foreign businesses for months on withdrawing their money that they deposited in the name of no money in the bank. All of a sudden, we see new money, fresh, on the market. And when Yaka Koluba, in his usual style though, raised the alarm about money likely being printed, they say he's crazy. He's uncouth. He's not still relaxed. Here the president asking us to authorize central bank to infuse $4 billion on the market. He said we must authorize central bank to go print $4 billion and bring it so that they can infuse it in keeping with their professional judgment. The president wrote the legislature today and said he's asking us to authorize central bank to infuse $4 billion into circulation. Where is that money coming from? In the first place, who told the president say you need legislative approval to infuse money? Especially if the money has already been printed and is in a reserve, the central bank vault. It is left to central bank to determine when to put that money or when to infuse it. When the president wanted to do $25 million infusion, he asked for legislative approval. You understand me to it? Yeah, economic management team, did they ask for legislative approval? Did they seek one? Did they get one? Because they knew at the time that you did not need legislative approval to infuse money, whether that US dollar or a Liberian dollar. You did not need legislative approval. It was left with the determination of the central bank. That's what we granted their independence. How come on earth this president is now writing us to say, please approve central bank to put $4 billion Liberian dollar also? Where is that money coming from? Where is that money coming from? So today, I wrote the Liberian Senate. Asking Darius endorsement for us to summon the authorities of the central bank to tell us whether they printed money recently. If they did not print it, if they did not print money recently, where the new money coming from or fresh money coming from. And if it were in the vault, why they didn't put it also a long time when it was direly needed and people were dying here, businesses were closing, and companies, and including government, cannot pay people in the name of no money? Where the money coming from? We need answers to those. Our people look to us to ask these questions, to hold these people accountable, and we're not shy away 1 minute, 1 second from doing so. And the legislature is about check and balance. It's not about friendship. If you see my facial expression, it's not looking too good today. I'm sorry, it's because Madam painting her house for the season, and the paint scent gave me too much hard time. The paint scent, so strong in the house, gave me a hard time. So, or it is what it is. So that's it. The central bank will have to answer. I wrote a letter today. I'm looking forward for it to be on the agenda tomorrow. And if it is not on the agenda tomorrow, I will want to know why. I will insist to know why it's not on the agenda. And if it gets on the agenda, I will talk to my colleagues for us to take this matter seriously. Because this thing borders around economic sabotage. If the money was in the central bank vault, water down, water side, or the main vault, and they said no money, they were giving up mutilated money, they were denying people access to their own money, and causing the economy to decline until it's in the toilet, even fall, or in the septic tank. That's economic sabotage. The people, I don't know what strategy was that, but that's, to me, another form of economic sabotage. And we'll call these people. And the Liberian people will watch to see their lawmakers, how serious or unserious we are. What are we just taking pay and huge money to for nothing? And when do we stand up when it matters most to the people in the country? When? Let me close on December 30. Let me close on December 30. Henry Costa will arrive, according to his itinerary. Henry Costa will arrive in Liberia on Thursday. I made this a public statement today, and let me make it on my video here. Since most of the people that matter, and including the president, I got notification that the president himself is on this video. I know who come under my video for me to know that the president himself is watching. So I'm speaking directly to the president right now. Thankfully, he will not say he here. I know he here. Common sense wisdom should inform the executive not to arrest Costa or attempt to do so when he arrives in Liberia, especially if or when his arrival is no violation of any law. Let me repeat, dear government, common sense wisdom should inform the executive not to be impulsive, not to be sentimentally emotional to go arrest Costa when you arrive in Liberia. To do so, you will be inviting December 30, before December 30. I'm expressing my view. Let me repeat, dear government, quote-unquote, executive branch, when Costa arrives in this country, do not attempt to arrest him out of impulse, emotion, and sentiment. You are not weak because you didn't arrest Costa. And what are you arresting him for? If you want to. What's the charge? Don't dare do it. It is not in common sense place to do it. You do it, you will be inviting December 30 naturally, before December 30, on your hands. I am part of COP, for the record. We, as COP, as a body, we are not demanding or calling for the president to step down. On December 30, I will be there. We are coming outside to ask the president some questions about our petition we submitted June 7. And we'll be demanding answers. I will be there. It is not about President we are step down. Nobody is going to go demand President we are step down. When we ask the man questions, when we ask the government questions, and they answer those questions appropriately, take the appropriate actions that will start to mitigate some of the economic situation in the country, the poor bad governance over the country, start to take action that will take their hands off interfering with the judiciary, we'll go home. Somebody say, if we want the president to step down, the legislature should step down too. I'm ready. I'm ready. If us stepping down will save this country, I'm the first. I'm ready. This is not about self. This is not about love for one person or the hate thereof. It is about preserving the country. It's about maintaining the peace and seeking about the progress of the country and the people. So if the legislature, they will be useless in majority. If we have to step down for the country to go forward, I'm ready. I'm the first. I'm in line. In fact, I'm ahead of the line. I'm not greedy to be senator. I'm not anxious. It's not an insatiable greed. No, to be senator. No. We chose to put ourselves in front, deprive ourselves a lot of things, sacrifice our personal happiness and safety, the safety even of our family, to do what we do because we want it good for all of us. We want it good for all of us. And if some of us being there will serve as hindrance to the progress of this country, I'm ready to leave. If it will require the president himself leaving, he should leave. But let's face it, you think the president is the sole problem of the country? No. the legislature. Their president wrote the legislature for authority to infuse money. Unless God himself embarrasses the legislature, especially the Senate, in majority, they will grant the president that approval for the central bank to infuse money. We will have no such authority to grant. Imagine the president call us back, say that special setting, emergency, national emergency. The president sent town chief, assistant minister nomination, and assistant superintendent nomination. Doing this extraordinary special setting, we're supposed to be talking extraordinary in national emergency issue. The president sending town chief nomination for all the conferment, and the Liberian Senate. And then somebody say the president is the only problem? No, the legislature, as it is, it's even worse. If the president is bad, trust me, the legislature is worse. If the president is bad, then there is a layer above the president on bad. It means the legislature is worse. In majority, we're taking the people money, huge sum of money every month, almost for nothing. The Liberian people cannot go to bed and sleep, guaranteed that they have a legislature. They can't go to bed, guaranteed that they have a legislature. But when I lose hope, we remain strong. I have said repeatedly, my philosophy is, if you can't beat them doing the wrong things, don't join them. Change that mentality, change that philosophy. If you can't beat the majority doing the wrong thing, don't join them. Because if everybody who can beat them joins them, nothing will ever change. If you can't beat them, don't join them. Distinguish yourself from them. And by you distinguishing yourself from them, it will inspire another person with courage to join you. And then another person will join you. And then you look, in the long run, you or your group become the majority to do what is right. If you can't beat them doing the wrong thing, don't ever join them. Because if we keep joining them because we can't beat them, especially they doing the wrong things, and we join them because we can't beat them, for God in heaven's sake, nothing will ever change. Nothing will ever change. So, if you can't beat them, if we can't beat them, some of us, few of us can beat them, in majority, doing the wrong thing, trust me, we will not join them. We'll be looking to you with hope that as an opportunity comes, especially in 2020, we move most of them. And that is why in 2020, I will be most of the time in some of these counties telling the people that you see the other lawmaker and him calling, don't elect him again. He's not good. These are the things he did to you when we were fighting for you collectively. These are the things he did that caused you to be in your condition. Don't vote for him. Because if we have an opportunity to shake the legislature by including new members with the same kind of spirit, character, and principle for the people and for the country. And if the people infuse or flood the legislature with majority of the same people, then what the people are saying by their vote of those same people is that they enjoy what the people do to them. And at that time, then you can't be looking for people to fight for you. You will have an opportunity in 2020 to fight for yourself by your ballot. And we will pray to God for some of you to listen to us. We are in the legislature. In the legislature, they get the good, the bad, the ugly. If you have watched that movie, it's a cowboy movie, I love it. With Flint Eastwood. Yeah, Eastwood. I love that movie. They call it Goodbye, Ugly. Those of you on the internet, if you have the time, just Google that for that movie and watch it. If you have not watched it before. Good olden time cowboy movie with good little story behind it. I love it so much. But the title I love, Goodbye and Ugly. That's what the legislature has. And I say it with no fear that the bad and the ugly are in huge majority. How they got there, only God wants knows. How they got there, only God knows. And so I want to thank you for following tonight. This is how I want to go home. Civil servants are on go slow. The government shut down private schools in fear of students of public schools. The government shut down public schools so that public school students going to school and not meeting the teachers to teach them will not be tempted to go protest at public or at private schools, where we, the government officials, and some private citizens who got nothing to do with government, send their children to private school. We who in government, the national policy maker, we can afford to send our children to private school, but we can't afford to pay the public school teacher so that they can teach the ordinary or poor people children that go to public schools. How do we feel when we carry ourselves around as honorable? How do we feel? Our public service is different in Liberia, man. Honorable this, honorable that. Man. I have to go. My nose is bleeding. And it is responsible for me to be here with them. I love you guys. Tomorrow go to session. If need be, I will give you a briefing. I told you I'm open to you. I would represent all of us, openness, fairness, courage, and transparency. And I will come to you regularly. Sometimes I interval as the need arises. I will be truthful to you. Even if someone the truth I will tell you will hurt. I didn't lie to you to ask for your vote. You gave me your vote. I should not lie to you just to keep it. Okay, folks. That's how we go on to them. As you can see, the senator, the pin sent giving the senator a hard time. Right? So that's how it ends tonight. We'll go to session tomorrow. Looking forward to doing your job to represent us. It's a difficult thing, but it's not impossible. It's a difficult thing, but it's not impossible. Love you all. Goodbye. God bless you.